when the defeat to Kovalev happened, Tunde came in for a lot of criticism, more than you did, in fact. How did you feel about that at the time, and what was it ultimately that caused you to stick by him? Was it just loyalty, or was it conviction on your part that he's the man for the job?
I'm a very, very loyal person, and again, I said this earlier, I think for myself. I make my own decisions, and I don't follow the crowd. So when I think about things, I'm like, Tunde's never said to me, Anthony, don't leave me. Don't listen to them, please. Don't, please. He's never done all that.
Worst Tunde impression ever.
Yeah, but you know, that's not how he talks about it. I've just always said, relax. Everyone just keep doing their job. You know what I'm saying? No one here is perfect, you know, because nobody was saying anything when I started my career and I was knocking at everyone in the first round. Second round, third round, I hadn't gone past the fourth round until like my 15th fight. No one was saying nothing. Everyone was like, oh, these are amazing. Or, I don't really like that Tony, he's a bit arrogant. Or, but in terms of people saying leave, no one was really saying that. But I'm a person, I'm obsessed with progression. So when I realised, cool, we've got to another level, we're fighting for world titles, where the competition is getting thicker, yeah, we do all need to level up. You know, me included, you, Tunde, Ade, like there's grillings happen in my camp. Like we all gang up on each other. We're like, bruv, where you been? You ain't been in a couple of days. You're talking about this and that. I don't care about your personal life. What? No one can say nothing because I went through shit during lockdown and I was still here. Don't talk to me about don't come with excuses. Excuses can't exist around here. Tunde again, one thing I can say about him, there's never been a day at the gym, not once. So me and him, our competition was that if he misses a day because he's had dentist, I'm like, you come with all this dentist talk, you miss gym. If I same thing, you come with all this, it's usually dentist or something like that, you miss gym. If I've got anything, if I've got a birthday, my own birthday, I train, then I enjoy myself. That's just how we're all built. So we got a strong campaign. James Cook's come in with his, you know, his expertise and his experience, and he just fits, like he's fitted in. And we all trust his opinion as well. Like he's got us doing certain runs and he's picking up on certain habits. So he's like, throw that shot after you've done that. That's excellent. But throw that shot after, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. And we talk. We're like, yeah, do that. I'm like, the reason I don't do that is because of that. See, I didn't think of that. So it's like it just works. And there was other people that, you know, that was in mind, you know, who was gonna. Ben Davison, you know, I think he's an excellent coach. He came up in conversation, and Tunde, one thing that surprised me about Tunde that I really appreciated is Tunde, when it came to progression, his ego left. His ego went out the window. We sat down as a team and said, yeah, like, it needs to be a thing where someone needs to come and like help a little bit, or because we're clearly doing something right. Because Tony did something right with me, 12 amateur fights. You know, 11 amateur fights, 12, can't remember. You know, it was mixed and match. Someone said to me the other day, you know, you actually had 11. That's what someone said to me, and I was like, 12. They were like, no.
Change the narrative now.
Do you get what I'm saying? And then they said to me, you know, you had 11, 10 knockouts. And I was like, you sure? I was like, no, it was 12, 11 knockouts. They were like, nah. But anyway, Tony's done an excellent job with me. Taught me to be a showstopper. That's what he used to call me. He'd be like, you want to go there, be the showstopper, stop the show. You know? Tunde made me add a bit of skill to my game, you know, reflexes and catching, countering, all that kind of stuff. It just works hand in hand. So when Tunde he didn't have no ego when it comes to progression, I said, this is why your passion for boxing. This guy eats and lives and breathes boxing, studying fights, and watching boxing and just trying to be better. I'm the same. And then that thing of like bringing in someone like James Cook, and we listen, like me as well. When a student again gives me some advice, I sat next to Usyk. That were there at the Fury and the Fury Chisora fight, and Usyk was talking to me. I was listening. I'm a person. I'm so humble when it comes to learning.
What did he tell you? What did he say?
I think that's between me and him.
Fair enough.
He was just telling me some things, and he fought Beterbiev twice. He was just telling me some things, you know, and
advice.
Just a little advice, just a little things. Lovely guy. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm the same. Like when you see me smiling and laughing, it's not fake. You can see he's the exact same. Like he's bubbly, but he can fight. And yeah, man, I feel like that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about, just being a student and trying to learn, you know. And everyone's gonna be a critic when things ain't going right. When things are going well, there's a awkward silence. No one's there to talk. They're only gonna have their opinion for the next fight, but then that's what they say, silence your critics. But that's not really my goal. My goal is just to be the best person I can be.
You talked about lockdown there. Obviously, you suffered 2 devastating personal losses during that time. 5 in total, apparently. Now, I've only just found out, but it was obviously known at the time you lost your father and your grandmother. Maybe if you feel comfortable, you can tell us about the other 3 also. But how did that affect you? Because it was going into the first Lyndon Arthur fight. Can't have been easy preparing for that and trying to maintain focus while all that was going on the side as well.
You know what it is? The reason I'm so open here is because I'm a human. And people sometimes, I feel like me getting into boxing and being in the public eye, I made that decision. You know, I feel like I could have done anything and been successful at it, but boxing is what called me and what my passion was. So I think a mistake I made was initially putting on my Instagram saying my dad's died from COVID. At the time, it felt like it was a good idea. You know, people are going through it. Sometimes people are committing suicide because they've lost somebody, and a lot of people are going through it, you know. But what I didn't realise that was going to come with that is everybody bringing it up. Everyone I saw in the street was saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I go to my local corner shop, oh my gosh, your dad's gone. Oh, let me pray for you. Well, I just want a chocolate bar, bro. Like, I just come for a little drink. Like, see what I'm saying? I don't want to even talk about that right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not just you. Every interview I've done, like, around that time, and I didn't get a chance to mourn. So I was just putting on this brave face. I was being the strength for my family and all that kind of stuff. So then I didn't realise I ended up being a bit depressed. I didn't realise at the time. So only when I realised I was going home, I was coming to the gym because I have to do that, going to the gym. I was going straight home. I wasn't seeing none of my friends. I was urinating in plastic bottles in my room. Didn't want to leave my room. I did anything to not leave my room. I was ordering Uber Eats. My mum was saying, Ant, I've cooked. All right, thanks, mum. I was eating that, leaving the plate. I'll come back after training, the plate's gone. So obviously my mum's been in my room. Like, during that time, my family had to be together, so everyone came together, everyone was in the same house. But I wasn't leaving my room. You know, I was when 3-4 bottles powered up, I'll take them to the toilet. If I need to shit, I'll go shit, empty them out, throw them bottles in the bin. But then I realised a habit, a pattern. I was coming home from training. I made weight for that fight so easy because I wasn't eating. Like, I was eating but not properly. And then when I actually analysed the thing that was happening, I said, I think this might be a bit of depression, you know, because I'm overcompensating I'm coming to the gym, everything's funny, I'm laughing at. It's not, I'm a bubbly person anyway, but I'm trying to avoid anyone talking to me about anything serious. I don't want to have no serious conversations. So only one time I realised, my mum tried to come in my room and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you coming in my room? She looked around and she was like, Anthony, you right? I was like, I'm good, man, I'm good. What's wrong? What's wrong? Do you need anything? No, I'm just telling you, I'm going out. All right, cool, be careful, like, I don't know, spray the air or something before you walk out, like, disinfect the air or some shit. But then I realised, when my mum looked around, she looked at me a bit like, worried, like, what are you doing? I started to, like, look at things properly, and I spoke to a couple of my boys. They were like, yeah, like, one of my boys, well, his dad passed, and he wasn't that close to his dad. But then when his dad passed, it was like a realisation. It's time for the family to come together. I wasn't that close to my dad, but then when that happened, I was like, it's actually a part of you, innit? Like, it's part of you that's actually, like, that's gone. So again, I feel like even my boy, we grew from that kind of situation. When you're talking about other people, my dad and his mum, they passed like 6 days apart. That was hard on the family. And then about 2 months later, one of his sisters passed, and then his dad passed. So that was all close to home. And then again, my other nan, she died as well. They said it was a stroke, but then they tried to label it as COVID. It was all too much. So when everything was happening, and the last 2 deaths happened like 2 weeks before the Lyndon Arthur fight. But then I don't want to tell no one now, because the last time I told people that we had deaths in the family, that's all everyone's talking about. Every interview I do, I said, let me not tell no one. I went into that fight with Arthur. I was going back to the wrong corner. That fight felt like a gaze. I couldn't remember like none of the fight afterwards. He didn't hit me. None of us really landed any punches apart from one of the rounds where I stuck it on him a little bit. I think that was like little jabs. Like we spar all the time. Like, but I couldn't remember like what was happening. I was like, but I won that fight. That's all. That was an easy fight. What were they seeing? When I watched the fight, I said, "Geez, hey, this is not the same fight I was watching." Again, after watching the fight, I still feel like it was a shit fight. It was boring, but I still feel like I won the fight. Even now, to this day, I feel like I still won the fight. But thank God, because that brought back that switch to say, "Cool, you man, you don't want to see touch Anthony. You don't want to see sparring. You want to see me take someone out." So, yeah, one thing I learned from that situation is your mind needs to be right to go into professional boxing, because no one cares about, oh, look what he went through and should he be in the ring. No one cares about that stuff. People care about the result. So again, that's why since that happened, I've had 3 fights since then. 3 fights. I've had the rematch with Lyndon Arthur, had a fight in Birmingham, and had a fight a couple of weeks ago. No games. No games.